Everyone says work harder, so John did. He sacrificed weekends, he skipped holidays, he studied until midnight, then until sunrise. He gave everything. But every year the result stayed the same, failed again and again. Which raises a strange question. What if working harder is exactly why he failed? John wasn't lazy. He had a full time job, 9 hours every weekday. Morning alarm, rushed breakfast, crowded train, office desk, emails, meetings, deadlines. By evening, he was exhausted. But there was one thing he never stopped thinking about: a government job. Not because it sounded impressive, because it meant stability, security, a better future for himself and his family. Every month, he bought another book, another notebook, another set of mock papers. His shelf kept growing. So did his motivation. Just for a day, though, every evening, he walked to his desk, sat down, opened a book, looked at the syllabus. Thousands of pages, hundreds of topics. His mind whispered, "Where do I begin?" So instead, he watched one strategy video, then another. This topper studied 12 hours. This ranker solved 50 mock tests. Everyone had advice. Everyone had a timetable. So John made one too. It looked perfect. Everything was organized. Everything had a place. John smiled. This time, I'll do it. Monday arrived. Office ran late. I'll study tomorrow. Tuesday arrived. He felt tired. I'll study tomorrow. Wednesday, a friend called. I'll study tomorrow. Thursday, family needed him. I'll study tomorrow. Friday, he wasn't in the mood. I'll study tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. Months passed. His books stayed almost new. His timetable stayed almost empty. But strangely, his confidence didn't disappear because he had one belief. When the exam gets close, I'll take leave from office. I'll study. Day and night, I'll cover everything. That thought comforted him. It made procrastination feel safe. After all, there was still time until one evening. While scrolling, he saw an exam notification. He opened it, read the date, then read it again. Only 3 months left. His heartbeat changed. 3 months for a syllabus he had ignored for almost an entire year. Suddenly, tomorrow didn't exist anymore, and panic began. 3 months. That's all John had left. He stared at the exam date. Again and again. An entire year gone. And now, only 3 months. He couldn't quit his job. Bills still had to be paid. Office still expected him. So he made a different plan. Every Friday, he applied for leave. Sometimes Monday instead. One leave turned into a 3 day weekend. Then another. Then another. Soon his leave balance started disappearing. Leaves meant for vacations. Leaves meant for family. Leaves meant for emergencies. Gone. Sometimes he wasn't even sick, but he still texted his manager. Not feeling well. Need a day's rest. Every lie made him uncomfortable, but he kept thinking, it'll all be worth it when I clear the exam. So every long weekend became a study marathon: coffee, books, mock tests, revision. 14 hours, sometimes more. The first weekend felt amazing. He finished chapter after chapter. He looked at the clock. 12 hours. Then smiled. Finally, I'm working hard. The next weekend, he pushed harder. 13 hours. Maybe 14. No walks, no exercise. Lunch. At his desk. Dinner. At his desk. Breaks. Felt like wasting time. Sleep felt unnecessary. Because every hour, not studying, felt like failure. At first, it worked. He covered topics, solved questions, filled notebooks, but the more he pushed, the less his brain responded. He read the same page again and again. The words entered his eyes but never stayed. He finished an entire chapter only to realize he couldn't remember what he had just read. So he blamed himself. I'm still not working hard enough. The answer seemed obvious. Study longer, sleep less, drink more coffee, push harder. One weekend became another, then another. Soon, every leave looked identical. Books, coffee, pressure, repeat. His room stopped feeling like home. It felt like a prison. Then he attempted a mock test. The questions looked familiar, but he felt ambiguous and couldn't answer most of them. When the test ended, he looked at his score. It was terrible, far below what he expected. He sat there in silence, staring at the paper. I've studied so much. So why am I getting worse? But instead of questioning his strategy, he questioned his effort. So he made the same mistake. One more time, he decided to work even harder because he still believed success belongs to the person who suffered the most. He had no idea that suffering and progress are not the same thing. The day of exam had finally arrived. John appeared for the exam and failed again. This time he took a break. One whole week he met his friends, watched movies. One evening he met his friend, AK. John sighed. I worked so hard and still failed. AK smiled, then asked, when was the last time you actually enjoyed studying? John stayed quiet. AK continued, you're trying to force 13-14 hours when you can't even start. John frowned. So what? AK smiled. Just show up for 2 minutes. John laughed. 2 minutes? What difference will that make? AK replied, the goal isn't studying for 2 minutes. The goal is making starting too easy to avoid. John wasn't convinced, but 2 minutes sounded harmless. The next day after office, he sat down, started a timer, 2 minutes, nothing more. He opened the syllabus, looked through the topics. The timer rang, he stood up and left. That's it. The next day, same routine, 2 minutes, then done, again and again. A few days later, something changed. Instead of closing the book, he became curious. This topic looks interesting. He read one paragraph, then another. Without noticing, 20 minutes had passed. The next day, he returned. Not because he had to, because he wanted to finish what he started. Soon, 20 minutes became 30. 30 became 40. A week later, he attempted a mock test. He wasn't expecting much, but his score improved. For the first time, progress felt real. So he repeated the process. Just 2 minutes. Some days he stopped after 2 minutes. Most days he didn't, because starting was the hardest part. Everything after that became easier. He stopped taking unnecessary leaves, stopped lying to his manager. His weekends became normal again. He studied, met friends, watched movies, took breaks, and returned the next day. Months later, the exam arrived. This time, he wasn't panicking. He wasn't trying to catch up. He had already been showing up every single day. The results came and he passed. For the first time, John realized how consistency had beaten panic and was able to get his dream government job. John realized success wasn't about working harder. It was about showing up every single day. So stop chasing perfect motivation. Make starting so easy. You can't avoid it. Just 2 minutes every day, and your future self will thank you. Thank you for watching. This is AK signing off.